Well, good morning, good evening, and good night, everyone, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku podcast in this special occasion where we chain together the topics. Yeah, that was a bad attempt of a pun. I apologize.
We all have those moments, Isaac. No, don't feel
Yeah.
sorry about it.
And joining me today for our special occasion of discussion with the Chainsaw Man manga is Nathan. How's it going, man?
It's good to be here, Isaac. It's always fun to talk manga and anime with you.
And this time with the manga is it's Chainsaw Man, more importantly, the current stage, because well, Twitter have blown up for better or for worse with the latest three chapters, the two chapters before and this chapter, current chapter in particular. So we thought, why not do another of the whole, well, in a what could almost be a series by now, and in what we call what the hell is going on with X manga, starting with the Jujutsu Kaisen one, which not gonna spoil that for those that are just anime only, but I link that in the description below. But and just like with the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, I'm just going to tell you right now, we are going to have our general thoughts about part two, which is not covered by the anime so far, and well, the current status of the latest one, the as of it is right now, the last three chapters. And so, if you're not caught up with the manga or is an anime only, I suggest get out of here and come back once the manga is up to speed, or you for some reason um, start reading the manga, or just doesn't care about spoilers in general, and you're just curious about what's going on. But let's start with our general thoughts then about Chainsaw Man Part 2, which is an interesting experience, if you ask me.
Hmm.
Let's start with you, Nathan. What are your thoughts about it so far and all?
So, like, for me personally, I do enjoy part two, like from so far. Like, it's like not as like action pack or like as like gruesome as part one, but there's still like a lot of really good character work, especially with like the I guess kind of like the second main character, like Asa, who I like her dynamic with like her like it's the War Devil. That's like she has like a that she's stuck with, right? The War Devil. Like really, just
Yeah,
I like her dynamic with like with her and the War Devil, just kind of like just kind of basically forced to be in the same body, like and like all of like the good character work that comes from it. Like and then there's some like there's like some nice, especially with her how she deals with like Denji. How she needs to kill him, but he is there's also like there's something there a bit under there too, a bit of like especially with the last few chapters, some I guess hormones there, if you know what I mean. Just that's
that's an understatement.
we're gonna get to that in a few minutes, folks. Just wait. So, but yeah, overall, I do enjoy this like part two. Do I like it as much as part two? No.
You
Do I
mean
think it's as
as much as part one?
oh sorry? Do I think it's sorry? Do I think it's as good as part one? Um, right. I I don't know. I think it's I really need to wait until like the whole story's finished, and and we can review it from start to finish. But I don't think it's no terrible. I don't think like if depending on how these next few chapters handles the recent stuff, I that will really solidify whether part two is a worthy continuation of the series. And if not, then at least I still have part 1 to enjoy.
Mm, I'm sort of the same with you, and it's funny because I got rather confused when they started off with another main character instead of Denji. Because wait, where is Denji? Isn't this supposed to call Chainsaw Man? Don't get me wrong, I like Asa just like you, but it was just I got a bit confused at the beginning. I say that I do like the dynamic. They are a prime example of dysfunctional uh, teenager that don't know what to do, cranked up to 11. They argue, which is
Yeah.
fitting within the universe. Since is there some one character that are quote unquote normal? If you catch my drift.
I think I think weirdly enough, despite him being like the villain, like big villain from part 1, and just being like a complete asshole. Like you can make the argument that Katana Man is probably the most normal person on the cast, but when you compare him to like say everyone else, he's just like in part 1 he's just he's just a guy who wants revenge for like Tenji killing his grandfather, at least from his point of view, and then in part 2 he's just doing his own thing and just helping out Denji out because why not? He's just like he's just now just some regular asshole, so which is not as crazy as just all the
Put it
bullshit
in
that,
ass.
huh?
Put it in ass. Put it in ass. Oh, never mind. Continue.
Yeah, like so I think, but aside from that, yeah, I think, I mean, when like majority of the cast are probably need some therapy. I think it says something when Katana Man is the one guy who's the most well adjusted by comparison to the people around him. But that's but still not by much, arguably.
Yeah, yeah, you have a good point in that. It's if Katana Man is the most normal, then the the world is kind of fucked up, to say the least.
I mean, there is a cult in Chainsaw Man Part 2, so
Yeah,
it already was pretty fucked up, even without that realization.
I mean, to be fair, there are cults in the real world that are weird as shit. Didn't Jared Leto start a cult during the COVID pandemic, and he or something?
That's, yeah, okay. When you put it like that, like when it comes to most cults, yeah, I think the Chainsaw Man Church is like probably a lot more dignified because at least their guy is actually real. At least they're just like people who just take it too far. There's some cults just make stuff up. At least Chainsaw Man's real in this universe.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But it so we both agree that there is it's it's good so far, but this whole scenario right now could, I don't know if I would say make it or break it, but it could easily switch the thoughts for both of us regarding how we feel about part 2.
Uh, yeah, especially with like especially with the recent 3 chapters, like which is the subject of today's video. Which
Yeah.
I think I'll let you be like the one to start this off with.
So yeah, the whole thing that started the whole controversy was, well, when Asa was giving Deku a HA, and people
Deku, what the?
no Denji, sorry, gave Denji a HA, not a
H,
BJ. That would
H,
be even more insane. Not gonna lie. Uh,
I mean, this is Fujimori we're talking about. It's like maybe that's a few chapters away. Who knows?
Considering what he indicated in the last chapter, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
And also, he's the mangaka for Fire Punch, and also has read Fire Punch.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I would say like I have not read Fire Punch. It's not on the Shonen Jump manga app or the Vizme app, wherever it's called now. Like, and like from what I heard, that's a lot more darker, a lot more like it makes like Chainsaw Man look like Barney the dinosaur, from what I've been told. So,
Yeah,
and like
but
Chainsaw Man's a lot more like comparatively speaking optimistic. Yeah, Denji has gone through so much stuff. He has lost so many people, but he just keeps going. He just just keeps pressing on because what else can you really do? So I like I think I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think it will still have like a positive-ish ending for Denji's character. It's just a matter of how Fujimoto pulls it off.
it's just because, and I can understand, and I can imagine that if it wasn't for the HA, people wouldn't be quite as is the word disturbed in this case with the whole scene.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Well, people can't get ahead of themselves. Like we're already
No,
we still have a few more chapters to go. And yes, that pun was
yeah.
intentional.
And but then we go to the sushi place where the latest two chapters occurs, with them sort of like trying to put that aside. And I'm not the biggest fan of sushi, but if you were, I would probably not want any sushi for a long time after these two chapters, especially in with their recent. I don't know if I would say reveal or not, but at the end of the latest chapter, we saw Naoya. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah, I think we'll just go with that because I don't think we don't have the anime yet to say her name properly, so we're just gonna pronounce it the best way we can.
Yeah, and which is essentially Deck, not Decker,
Benjamin.
I Denji's little sister slash daughter, adoptive daughter, depending on how you look at it.
I
And,
see it like as a little sister thing, but go
yeah,
on.
and he has raised her since. Hasn't it been about a year? Taking doesn't this take place about a year after part one, or am I mistaken?
It's I know I think it's at least been like quite a while at least. It's not been like a few years, but it's at least been like at least 6 months.
Yeah, and she has gone missing for quite some time. And but now we got reunited with her, so to speak,
Uh,
in the latest chapter, or part of her at least,
oh,
where we
uh,
see her head
oh,
on a
oh,
what?
no, I'm
I,
just you were just kind of like you just keep delaying until you get to the punchline. Just of her head on a
where
sushi,
we see her head on a sushi plate,
allegedly.
which allegedly,
Yeah,
which is just
uh, I can.
fucked up.
Yeah, like especially if you're like theory like the about how like the guy was just feeding her body to Denji, like oh keep eating this food, dude, keep eating this food, keep eating this food, or like
I mean, there is, I can't recall who said that, but there could be as an design error from Fujimoto. I'm not gonna. That's not.
mm,
That's not impossible. But in previous shots with her, Naoya, she has always had a mole close to one of the eyes. She
yeah,
doesn't have it
yeah.
in, or should I say, quote unquote, she
The
in
the head
that.
doesn't have the head doesn't have
Mm,
it. So like
But
I view that in two different ways. Like the argument against it is that, oh well, Fujimoto, like when like the War Devil possesses Asa, like the recent chapters he's been like drawing like the marks inconsistently, so he might have just forgotten the mole. And like,
yeah,
but on the other hand, I'm like, oh, like these are not like complicated marks. It's just like a mole. Like it's like it's yeah, simple to overlook, but this is like I don't think like Fujimoto would just forget something that simple. Which makes me inclined to believe that that's not actually Nayuda. That's just probably just some head that they just made, some paper mache head or something, and like, oh, and like just to rile up Denji. And I think I prediction
which
Denji
I
goes.
hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. And like in a few chapters, I guess when Denji goes full rage mode, Nayuda comes back. He's like, "No, Denji, like it's I'm alive." I think that could
Which
happen, but I can't
which
count out Fujimoto out for anything. Like
so,
he's been pretty out of pocket a lot of this time in this series, so
you,
everything could happen.
you know you know what's disturbing, which is almost as disturbing as the my theory about Fujimoto making him basically doing what he did to Makima in part one, in having to eating her so that she doesn't return. What if, in quotation mark here, he goes berserk because he see her like that, and she tries to stop her, and he accidentally kills her in his berserk mode.
Oh,
Uh, I mean, this is Fujimoto we're talking about. Isn't Horikoshi or Fujimoto? No, it's not. What's Naruto's creator name again?
it's no, no, wait, that's not much. It's it's slipping my mind. But the point is that
It,
just continue on.
it, it's not Hiromashima. It's not Oda. This is Fujimoto we're talking about.
Yeah,
The only one that I could see doing this as well is Gengaku Tami, but
yeah, but
maybe not in S.
yeah, but I feel like if they just actually killed off Nayuda like that, then and I feel like that would just undermine the ending of part one when Denji just takes in her and tries to raise her, right, just to try to make sure she doesn't become another Makima, just trying to be the thing that Makima never had, like a nice warm person to take care of her. But like I feel like killing her off, especially like that would just be a massive slap to the face to part one. Like
Yeah,
so, like Fujimoto is not like Horikoshi. Fujimoto managed to still keep his writing quality up after all this time. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
yeah, I get what you mean, and yeah, let's talk. This is not on My Hero Academia video, so let's put that aside.
But next time, folks. Next time, don't just you wait.
Uh, Pretty much, but how would they manage? How do you if she's alive and if she well will survive? Do you maybe think that Asa is saving her when causing her to give some trust to from Denji,
Mm,
or is she using the maybe she's using that as a tool to well save him, as we all know how she believes that she will, and you get the whole that idea.
mm, mm. It's like uh, I, 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 I think so. Like it's just again, we're going to need to wait at least a few more chapters before I can like lock down. Just it because it's just too much in the air right now. Like I know we say this a lot, but it's Fujimoto. Anything can still happen. So I'm not gonna like the only thing I will be confident is like that Nayuda is not dead. Everything else, it's it's a coin toss essentially, or like a dice roll. I just don't know.
Yeah, hopefully you're Hopefully, earlier you're right, because it would be. No, I am going to take back what I said before. Not even Gege Akutami would do something like this if the two worst case scenarios would end up being a thing.
Yeah, 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 uh, yeah. I I so much, yeah, like, but what does it say that we have talked more about, like, okay, no, actually, it's not surprising that we have talked more about like Nayuta potentially being dead. There's this like Denji's first fun times. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah, like, but like also like with regards to that, I think Asa will still play a massive role in it. Maybe like when Tenji's doing like berserk mode, maybe like she goes over to like the Lich Head and like maybe her or the Wardell like sense it or whatever, or just like examine it and say, wait a minute, this isn't a real human head. This is just some like some clay paper mache bullshit. Like the real Naida must still be alive. Maybe she's around here. Maybe like if I can just convince Denji to not do that, not to be a berserker monster because Naya is still potentially alive, then let's do that. It's it's really
that would be nice.
I think it'll be like that's my prediction. Either like Nayu is alive, and two things happen. Either she comes in clutch and stops Denji from hulking out, or Asa stops Denji. Say, wait, no, she's still alive. Like this head was bullshit. That sushi was not hurt. Like he's just trying to rile you up. He's just trying to use you, dude. Like don't do it.
Honestly, I that there is something along the lines that will happen, and that both will survive, obviously.
Yeah.
But I hate saying this, but just the whole, well, the two scenario, worst case scenarios is just stuck in my head. I mean, then again, this isn't Berserk, so which does that have any form of light in the tunnel, to say the least? But if some of you want to have a Berserk coverage someday, and no, I'm not talking about the 2016 anime, more about the manga or stuff like that, let us know down and below in the comments. But uh, oh, you say that Asa will play a bigger role at the end, which is obviously. Do you think it will end up with as a big battle between the two, or do you think that maybe Denji and Asa will take care of the shirts of Chainsaw Man and potentially the civil, well, the division that he once worked for that clearly wants him dead?
Hmm. Mm, um, um, uh, okay. I don't think I understood the question fully. Can you like say it again?
How do you think? Um, I was just thinking, how do you think the end game for part two
Oh,
will be? And now which we can even add, which we might as well add on top
oh,
of it all
oh,
when
oh.
we discuss the based on the current situation.
Like I think, I think, I think same thing with like part one. Like it's like bittersweet, but there's still a slice of optimism. So I think Denji's life gets uprooted again. I think he has to essentially start from scratch, but he has the people who cares about him the most. They're gonna be by his side, and like he'll still like continue on with living. That's that's what that's what I think will happen and what I hope happens. Because my man deserves better than this, man. He has gone through too much. He needs a break.
Indeed. he's the prime example of someone that example of a character. He make Batman look like he has a happy life. And if Batman is have a happy-go-lucky life in comparison to him, then you know something is bad.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like I think even Batman has more has had like less people die in him than Denji, and Batman works in the superhero business, mind you, or at least Batman just has. I guess still, I'm pretty sure Batman. Batman has a lot of good things going for his life. Denji's kind of just rock bottom, so it's kind of like
at least he only lost Jason Todd. From what I can remember, maybe there's some new comic where he lost some other Robins.
I know, like in like the comics, they killed like Alfred died in the comics a few years ago. So
what?
You didn't know that? I think Alfred died.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what to think about that.
I think we should just focus back on Chainsaw Man now and just
go
on the chatter after to talk about that. Get Mike up and you two can cook.
Exactly. But what? Also, I can't know what was it I'm gonna say. Do you think we are in the end game for Chainsaw Man Part 2? Maybe.
I think we're definitely near like the third act, where like all seems lost. Everything is kind of messed up right now. Like it's like even like we're coming up to like near like the same runtime that Part 1 had, which was 96 chapters. I think we're slowly approaching 80 chapters, so I think we're near the end. And then I think Part 2 will end soon. Whether we get like a Part 3 or whether Part 2 ends the series, we'll only see how the story wraps it up.
Yeah, I think I can see us being in the end game as well, and quite frankly, I don't see this being a manga that goes on as long as the usual mangas. If it were unless Shonen Jump just please Horikoshi, push this as long as you can. We need as many cash cows that we can, because we're about to lose JJK, and now going back to my hero, it's 4 chapters left.
Yeah. 4 chapters left of My Hero. Like, and and then JJK is gonna end soon, and I'm like, dang, so much has changed now, and now we got like a lot of new mangas coming out. Probably will like take the place of like of the old guard. But I think, for me personally, I don't think Chainsaw Man will end in Part 2. I think in trilogies. So I think we're gonna get a Part 3, and I don't know how that's gonna be, since Part 2 was wildly different than Part 1. We'll just have to wait and see. Is what I'm saying.
But who could they have as a third antagonist? Considering, isn't it essentially now? I have a brain freeze, but isn't it Death Devil that they are fighting right now? Or building up to, should I say?
I think they're just battling those. They're just trying to get Denji like kind of back on his A game right now, like and he had trying to survive like the commission, like the public safety guys, and also all the people who just hate him right now because of like all the chainsaw men just running around like around Japan. They just, a lot of people just became chainsaw, like mini chainsaw devils, because Like that's also what happened in this story. Like we said, this like the story as part 2 gets really crazy at times.
It's I wonder how much he's smoking while he's writing this. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
but but then again, I just imagine if the Berserker mangaka, what's his name again?
Well, the Berserker, like the original author died a few years
I
ago.
know, Kentaro Miura. Imagine as Kentaro Miura creating Chainsaw Man, then it would be extremely depressing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it would make the current situation look almost like like one of those old Saturday morning cartoons, like all bright and colorful compared to like next to Berserk.
Yeah. But I think it feels like we are going into circles. So I feel,
Yeah.
is there anything specific that you think that you want to point in for the current scenario or and part 2 as a whole?
Not really. I think I've said everything that I have to say about these recent chapters. I'm interested to see where it goes. I trust Fujimoto to do it well, like he has done for part 1 and so far with part 2. So I'll just trust the man on this.
I'm pretty much on point. And Fujimoto, if you somehow would hear this and or one of your manager hear this, I would love to interview you because you have an interesting mindset, especially knowing what your apprentice has created. But anyhow, Nathan, where can people find you? And do you have any upcoming projects that you want people to know about?
All right, so you can find me on my YouTube channel, Arkwinder. You can follow me on my Twitter, Nate the VA. As for upcoming projects, I admit I've been lazy on this. I'm starting to pick up a bit, and I'm hoping to get this out by this month or at least August. The 100 Girlfriends review, of course. Isaac's very anticipating that one. Like, then I'm just going to be doing whatever afterwards. Yeah, don't really know. Maybe might focus on my hero. Might just become a PokeTuber. I don't know. Let's. But I do know I will be back on this podcast one day, and it will be incredible, like it's always been.
It's always a blast having you on. And well, you can find me here at the Amateur Otaku Pod, and you can find my writing at The Wolf Writes, where I've written the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake review. And I'm currently working on some other stuff for the channel, such as video about a certain, how should I put it? Licensed video game for a certain anime / manga, which was surprisingly good. I will actually say that's the only thing I will say for now. More details once that video comes out, and well, we have a lot of other stuff coming up, and boy, will that be interesting. But see you next time, everyone.
See you guys.
And have it awesome. Please like and subscribe. And call.